Do something special. So Gemma,
Mute
yeah.
a couple more times. I am Kamaile with Wellness with Mana, and I just want to say thank you so much for showing up. I do this every single Wednesday because I am super passionate about the information that I'm about to share with you. Basically, you've been invited to listen in on some amazing technology that was truly a game changer for me. As I tell, usually in my story, I share that one, I was financially just, suffering in a financial crisis. And because I had had a child that really, I wanted to devote my time to making sure that I was a mom at home and raising him. And even though I'd been an entrepreneur all my life, and somebody in the health and wellness industry as a Hawaiian health practitioner for nearly 18 years now, actually, but about 2 years ago, I was really coming out of not feeling great, not feeling my best, not being on my game nutritionally because I felt like every little bit, because I was financially struggling, every little bit of health needed to be poured into that child of mine to make sure that everything was perfect. So I wasn't handling stress very well. I wasn't doing very well. And I know health very well. I know what to do. I know what to take. I've well researched when it comes to aloha. I'm well researched when it comes to vitamins and supplements. And if I don't know, I turn to experts that I do know and that I trust. And I only put the best in my body because I knew, how important it is to actually dive into what we're putting on to in our bodies as well as on our bodies to help to protect us, because I was still breastfeeding at the time. So anything I did to my body, I wanted to make sure that I was also equally passing along benefits to my child. So anyway, long story short, if I wasn't already growing it in my garden, because I am an avid, I love to garden and I love Hawaiian medicinal herbs. I feel like fresh is certainly the way to go. However, if I wasn't already doing that, or I didn't have it already in my cupboard, well researched, like I had just mentioned, I thought that I really knew it all. I kind of had my arms crossed when I went in to listen to this information. So you may too, you may already have a wall up and going, I already know about this. But when I went to listen into this information and realized that it is where science has met indigenous world beliefs around healing, the herbs that we've taken, the herbs that we've studied for centuries and centuries in many different lands and indigenous cultures, I was excited, you guys. I was excited to learn more. I was excited, like, oh my gosh, we have possibilities in front of us like never before. And I was excited to just give it a try. So, anyway, without further ado, that's a little bit about my backstory. And I'm going to share with you, like I do every single week, about what is called nutrigenomics. So, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen because I'm such a visual person. We should be getting this going. Let's see here. I think I just need to, oh, go live. And let's see here. Sorry, guys. Nope. Stop share. Let's do this again. There we are. All right, let me see. Oh, there it went. Sorry. All righty. Boy, the rain just clouds everything sometimes, doesn't it? So here we go. All right, well, let me go ahead and minimize this screen. I'm going to play, and as you probably have been invited, that probably means that either something is either stirring on, going on within your own body, or that you or somebody that's, somebody obviously loves and wanted to hear this information and probably has some understanding, like I did, about health and nutrition. And you can probably attest that we all want to adopt this quote here by Dr. Bruce Daggy is, let's build wellness rather than treating disease, right? So this has been truly my mantra from growing up as a little child, learning how Hawaiian health and indigenous practices really served myself, my family, and as I dove into it later into adulthood, how it really served my community, getting to know all of this. So this is truly something that we are looking at, treating disease, because man, is ever expensive. If you already, have been in a situation where you're in the hospital, or nobody knows someone that has been in critical care, you know that even if you are on an insurance, it can be extremely costly. So I'm going to share about tools that we've learned and we want to pass on to you. So we are a company, and I get so thrilled to announce this, called Life Vantage. We have joined arms as independent consultants, reps, Nutrigenomics coach. We have over 2,000 medical professionals that have linked arms with Life Vantage. And it's because Life Vantage has been really leading the pack in this field of what we call nutrigenomics. And nutrigenomics, when you break it down, it really just means that nutrition, like we were talking about, naturally occurring compounds going on within our body, the way that we're able to synergistically blend these compounds are affecting our bodies in such unique ways that we're actually getting down to the root pathways, if you will, of really talking to our cells the way that we have not explored before. So we are a company that has been sharing on this platform through independent consultants and distributors like myself for the last 11 years. We're very strong financially. We rang the NASDAQ last year. But why I say that is because we come from a very firm foundation of not only science, in Ayurvedic practices that has really come to blend with the science to bring us this technology, but really a background of research and development that has taken our company in many amazing fields of interest of the way that we're approaching the body. It's truly the gift of the future of the way that we're going to be looking at medicine, and possibly no longer supplementing our bodies the way that we are accustomed to. So let's see here. Oh, yep. So today we're going to go ahead and dive into what's called the 3 theories of aging. So when we talk about this, and when we go back to that last slide of Life Vantage, Dr. McCord is somebody who came to the forefront, wanted to study why do we age. He wanted to really discover, the one of the theories of aging, and that's exactly what he came up with over 2 decades of work, really going down the path of pharmaceutical, studies, etc. He found that every time he came up short, there was too many complications, too many side effects that just weren't meeting up to the standards that he would like to have seen. So he ended up turning to an arrayment of doctors that really brought in a different philosophy and turned to an Ayurvedic approach of herbs and nutrition, like we were talking about, to really come out with what is known as activating our NRF2 pathway. That is our protandem, one of our protandem trisynergizer effects that we're going to talk about today, but it is the founding product that really launched Life Vantage into the public stream and into the hands of many. And the testimonies are absolutely amazing, and just heartwarming is all I have to say. And that's why I'm excited about sharing. So I share this slide because this is where we're at, people. We're in obviously a world pandemic for the last year. We are dealing with so much stress with, people losing their jobs, their incomes. There's, as our friend Daisy always says, there's too much month at the end of the money, which typically means that some of our healthcare habits start to decline. One of them is oftentimes our food and our nutrition. We're running to places like, fast food. We're turning to fast food so that we can just consume what we can, maybe for a large family, maybe for a small family, maybe because we're just too tied up on our computers and our phones to see if we can, make ends meet, leaving us really without energy, listless, brain fog, ailments. So many different ailments are on the rise right now, and this is all due to low grade levels of stress, right? So it's kind of that silent killer that we're talking about. Well, when we look at low grade levels of stress, that's when we go back to that first theory of aging and say, okay, what's truly going on? Why are we being bombarded with all of this? And really our health is starting to decline. Well, what we figured out, what Dr. McCord figured out, it's because we're rusting from the inside out, you guys, just like this car in this forest here, it's broken down, it's probably not going to run. This is what's happening to us on a cellular level. And what it's called is actually oxidative stress. So it's just that's happening on a cellular level, that picture of that car, that rust, that, the deterioration of, that metal even. It comes from an imbalance between the production of free radicals and due to the numerous daily assaults that we've got going on within our body, within our environments, and our body's inability to actually neutralize them or detoxify those. So when we were young, right, free radicals are just a normal day of, like, people ask me all the time and I tell them, just the fact that you eat alone, the fact that you metabolize alone, all of these things, the exercise, too little exercise, too much exercise, all the stress we were talking about, the environmental toxins, the hair care products. I mean, all these things that we are putting on our skin. There's so many different things that actually bombard us with an imbalance of free radicals. But what we were God-given, what we were supposed to do and designed to do is actually have a beautiful balance, right, between our gut health, our nutritional health, our emotional and spiritual health, leading to combating all of that. But when we start to age, we're seeing the decline of actually being able to create back that balance in our body at a much more alarming rate. We are unable to combat, get this, the sextillion amount of free radicals happening and attacking our bodies on the daily. So this is really what's going on. You have a beautiful normal cell. This is where we're at. We're feeling great. We can conquer the world. We're 20. Bring it on. I can do anything. Maybe party a little bit too much. You leave that apple. In fact, you cut it out, cut it in half, leave it on the counter. Literally within a minute to 2 minutes, that starts to take on a browning effect. That's because oxygen is actually starting to hit it, and that mispaired oxygen molecule, what's going on cellularly is it tries to pair up with our cells, therefore causing this free radical damage. What we don't want to happen is the free radical demise of our cell, this oxidative stress. And that's when we start to lose cognitive abilities. We start to actually our immunity starts to go down. If our cells start to split off, we see things such as cancer and other large illnesses. This is all due to the fact that one of the root causes to many, many different illnesses and diseases, which is known through the study going on pubmed.gov, I'll explain that in a minute, is really the root cause of all of what's going on within our body, all that inflammation, not feeling well, lack of energy, all of that. So as a nutrigenomics coach, I always share, please eat the rainbow. You're going to want to consume foods that are high in proteins, amino acids, obviously antioxidants. We've heard that for years are going to help to cancel out those free radical damage that we see. Sulfur-rich foods, our kales, our broccolis, cruciferous foods. So all of these are going to definitely help to access that pathway of talking to the cell, that NRF2 pathway in particular, to boost our body's immune and all of that. But guess what, guys? What we also know is that even though we supplement, even though we eat enough, even though our diets are great, we cannot consume enough to actually combat that number of free radicals, that sextillion amount of free radicals going on daily. So literally, these are some of the statistics here of some of the things that we would need to consume on the daily in order to try, not even manage it, but try to manage the imbalance between the free radical damage and the and boosting up our body's ability to have more antioxidants to combat that. So I like to show this slide because literally it's like a 1-to-1 ratio. So think of it as you're, given the prescription, take more vitamin C. So what are you going to do? You're going to 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C is, what most busy individuals, tend to gravitate towards, or even turmeric for that matter. I was growing my own turmeric. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. So if one, antioxidant is only literally going to fight off one free radical. So it's about, you cannot combat, you cannot eat enough. It's literally like putting out this huge inferno of inflammation going on within your body with a Dixie cup of water. So this is where the exciting part comes in, and this is where the tools start to come in. And that is why, again, I'm excited about sharing. So today we're talking about what we used to do, which is supplementation, versus what we want to move into, which is activating our body's ability to turn on our tools. We literally are flipping on switches, as research and scientists say, within our bodies, within our cells, to actually get back to that healthy apple, that, where we're actually moving and feeling our best and repairing better. So let's go into that. So this is how activation works. Basically, you can imagine this little yellow pill, if you will, is the combination of herbs that are synergistically blended together in our patented formulation in our protandim NRF2 pathway. That's our activator, rather, that's talking to the cell on this pathway because it's signaling the cell pathway to talk directly to the cell instead of going in that back door, which is what we do nutritionally. Now, I tell people and coach people all the time, you hope that all of your nutrition, you hope that all of your supplements that you're taking is actually doing what you intend for it to do, what you're paying for it to do, because of, hopefully is what I'm trying to get at, is that our microbiome and our gut health is even able to receive all of that, and then of course disseminate it in the proper areas so that our cells are doing what they are, supposed to be doing, right? Most of us, in fact, I think over 80% of us are walking around with some sort of imbalance between our gut health and our microbiome. And most of us even have a leaky gut syndrome, not even knowing it. So again, another reason why we should really be paying attention to science and technology of activation. And that's exactly what we're sharing today. So I hope you're as excited as I am. I'm a science geek for sure, but this is what our Protandim NRF2 Synergizer does, guys. Look at this. We've known these herbs for centuries, right? Turmeric, milk thistle, green tea, bacopa, ashwagandha. Bacopa was the only one that I was not aware of and hadn't either been growing in my cupboard, growing in my garden or in my cupboard and already taking. But again, when I went to go and listen to the information, my arms were crossed. I was like, you can't tell me anything more about this. I get that. I'm taking that. I understand that. Here's the thing. It's the blended microdose of these individual components here coming together that actually affect the ability to talk directly to that cell, like I was explaining a moment ago, 1,800 times more effectively than each of these alone individually. That is what is exciting, and that is what's called activation. So guess what that does? It boosts our antioxidants. The top tier of our antioxidants, as you see here, are superoxide dismutates. That's at the top. SOD, catalase is the second tier. Glutathione, which is huge, is the third tier. Those are our large master antioxidants. Look at that. We're increasing our glutathione by over 300%. That's in a study that's done, that's documented, that your doctors can look at. And we're not supplementing. We're not giving it into our body, because a lot of times glutathione, even glutathione drips, are not absorbed and actually readily used, for our body. And it could be a lot of wasted money on our part. But what we're doing, we're flipping that switch. Okay, we're telling our bodies to make our own antioxidants. We're boosting our own abilities to produce that glutathione, which is just amazing when the results come out. And what's amazing about it is that we can claim that we can reduce that oxidative stress. We can reduce the demise of that cellular structure by 40% within 30 days, up to 70% within 120 days. And if this is the root cause to what they're saying, to over 250 illnesses and diseases that I'll bring up in a moment, you can kind of do the math. It is absolutely amazing. So here it is. And so I'm going to invite you, take a look right now. Take a look at all of those neurological, cardiovascular, multi-system effects, of disease and illness, respiratory, gastrointestinal disorders, joints, and skin. All of these. If you aren't suffering from one of those, and these aren't even the 250 that are up on PubMed.gov. If you aren't suffering from one of those, I bet you, in your circle of only three, the three immediate people around you might actually be plagued with symptoms that could actually go back to this these major illnesses and diseases. So I am excited to share that when we can lower that oxidative stress, we're lowering the possibility of suffering day in, day out, of all of the symptoms that come with these illnesses and diseases. This is where you can do your research, pubmed.gov, pubmed.gov. That's where I did my research. I was not going to listen to, just only friends. I definitely wanted to go down the rabbit hole. We have tons of research that we can show you. We have videos. We have a platform where you can look at all of the research. So please reach out to one of us, or do your research, ask questions. I love it. Here's some of the organizations and major players that actually, when they heard that Dr. McCord had discovered this, they wanted to do their own research on this. In fact, the Washington State University is noted in 2015 to say the NRF2 technology and pathway, discovering that is possibly the most notable discovery in the history of medicine, basically, is the gist of it. I'm drawing a blank to the exact words right now, but it is so powerful that all of these independent studies came about. We have over 26 peer-reviewed studies on our flagship product alone. And it's just really notable. It's not on the ingredients, it's literally on our Protandim. So apparently I like the word literally. So I love calling myself out on this. Okay, so real quickly, as we developed as a company, we not only were looking at the NRF2, but we thought, what other pathways can we do? What other theories of aging can we approach? And the next theory of aging is actually called mitochondrial decline, or mitochondrial demise, mitochondrial dysfunction. And so when we can actually go in and talk to our cells, again, flipping on those switches through a pathway called the NRF1 pathway, this is what it does. It supports our mitochondria, which basically is the powerhouse of each and every cell. I love showing this. This is basically the engine block of our cells. Up to 95% of our body's energy is actually made via our mitochondria. We're more mitochondria than we are cellular. It's just absolutely fascinating when you go down this rabbit hole. But this is what I like to share about this, because most people suffer from not sleeping enough at night. And I'm talking like, even if you're only getting 6 hours of sleep, that's truly not enough, is what doctors and scientists are saying. And when our bodies can actually repair during the day because our mitochondria are stronger, they're vibrating at a higher rate of vibrancy, or mana, if you will, energy, life force energy, we would actually be dead in about 30 seconds to a minute without our mitochondria. When we are actually having that vibrancy of our mitochondria just functioning at its best, guess what? Then that means that we're repairing during the day. We're actually feeling better. Our hearts are working better. Our brains are working better, you know, support circulatory and cardiovascular systems. But guess what? That means that we're actually sleeping better because we're not repairing, and just our bodies are literally like running marathons all night long, typically, to combat everything that we've done to it during the day. So it's just amazing what I have found as a mom. When I even slept my first 6 hours straight, you know, I thought, oh my gosh, you know, the baby couldn't be, you know, breathing still, because there's no way, you know, I was so scared that I didn't get up to check on him when he was little. And lo and behold, we're good, we're healthy. But that 6 hours of sleep was so miraculous. And it's just, it works in your benefit to actually feel better, to produce more, to, you know, to actually just feeling like you've got control over your life again. So um, and the last, you guys, that I'm going to touch on is called NAD. When we activate this cell signaling pathway, what we're truly doing is supporting the longevity of our life. So Dr. David Sinclair and his team of researchers wanted to also dive down this rabbit hole of figuring out, okay, what is the third theory of aging? Or basically, what is another theory of aging? Why are we aging? He wanted to really answer his daughter's question, you know, Daddy, are you going to live forever? And he had to say, unfortunately not, we all die. However, I'm going to get to the root of why we age so that I could possibly turn back the hands of time. And he's actually proven that he's done that by 10 years, by blood tests that he's done, and tons of research and labs. So what he did was he started looking at the benefits of intermittent fasting. We all know the benefits of that. But when he took it even more further and more drastic, I should say, than intermittent fasting, and actually reducing one's calories to 500 to 800 calories per day for very long periods of time, guess what? Not only was it a miserable existence, but our bodies kicked in and went boop, boop, boop. We're in survival mode, survival mode, survival mode. How's this for an amazing transformation? Our bodies, when in survival mode, kick up the production of what's known as NAD. It's a molecule within our cells. That NAD ends up feeding a family of sirtuins. Those sirtuins are now known or quoted or named, coined as the guardian angel or the CEO of our cells. They actually go into our cells. They can clean house, if you will, kind of like what a mom does, you know, when everything's disarray and, you know, everything's going wrong. A mom can go in there and, you know, whip it all up and everything's back to normal, settle the kids, make the dinner, you know, whatever. This is what our sirtuins do. They can go into our cells, pull apart the DNA, fix what's defunct, put it all back together, vacuum out the outside so that the neuroconnectors are actually basically clipped off and cleaned up. So it's sending that cell on its healthy, happy, merry way to function properly as a cell that it was intended to. So that whole process in itself is called autophagy. You can research that. It's absolutely amazing. But what's unique about our Protandim NAD synergizer is that we are the only ones that can claim that our all natural product can actually increase our NAD production by 100% within 24 hours. Most others that are trying to compete with us take 6 to 8 weeks to even take effect, and the efficacy is not nearly anywhere near what we can claim at 100% within 24 hours. But guess what? All three of them working together, NRF2, NAD, and the NRF1, are off the charts what it does for us genetically and what it does for us just overall health and of course longevity. So that's, you know, basically what we want in life, right? We want to live longer, we want to live happier, we want to live with joy, we want to live with ease and without pain and dis-ease. And we want to do it as closely as possible to nature, so that we're getting the full benefit of our, you know, our health regimens and not stuck taking a bunch of pharmaceuticals at the end of our lifespan. So this is us, guys. This is LifeVantage. We're biohacking. Today we only touched upon our anti-aging. We're truly an anti-aging company, leading the forefront in technology of biohacking. And biohacking is really just a word to say that we're taking back control over our lives, but via the choices that we make. We take our gut microbiome extremely seriously. And so when we look at our prebiotics and our probiotics that are designed to really truly lay down the foundation and then add in goodness so that our microbiome is working for us, guess what? That helps with our brain health. This month is heart health, being that it's February and we're promoting our omegas. So anytime that you buy a Tri-Synergizer, you're actually going to get a free omega, which is a $99 value. So that is absolutely amazing. And then we took that whole thought process of actually taking care of your gut and morphed it into our weight management system. When we're metabolizing better, when we're reducing our inflammation, when we're just feeling better, guess what? Then we're taking better steps to care for ourselves, to exercise more, to eat better. All of these things are really what we call smart management, weight management. And that fat burner is absolutely hands down amazing. It's actually a proprietary blend to actually help to detox our bodies while making helping to get rid of that visceral fat around our tummies, which again also helps with our heart health. And then nootropics, you guys, hands down, one of my favorites. So all of that technology, that NRF technology, really targeted toward the brain, ingredients that we've used for centuries in regards to, I don't know about centuries, but definitely for decades in regards to brain health, helping us to keep on focus, helping children and adults with ADHD, with autism. So it's, if you aren't going to do anything, definitely get a bag of Axio. That's all I'm saying. Hair care, skin care, we want to reduce our toxic overload when we're putting stuff onto our bodies. But then when we couple it with the science, we're getting so much benefit. I just got a raving testimony from one of my dear friends. She's like, I didn't tell you, but I ordered the skincare, and oh my gosh, I'm in love with the scent. I'm in love with the feel. I'm in love with the the end results. So it's truly an award-winning skincare and healthcare. I mean, hair care system. And then of course our pets. You guys, they're such an integral part of our heart's opening, which makes our immune systems healthier and stronger. And they're such a huge part of our families, and they are aging much quicker than we are because of their lifespan. So when we can reduce their oxidative stress, and we're talking from equine, from horses to doggies to rabbits, my kitty cat is on it, you name it. We are doing worlds of good to help, bring health into our homes. So this is the last thing basically that I kind of want to share, and tying it all up, and I'll show you how you can invest in yourself. Is we're no longer supplementing our deficiencies, guys. We're no longer chasing our tails. We're literally activating our pathways to control the healing and the aging processes. And this is Dr. Brett Bimhal, a friend of mine, as well as somebody who, again, has linked arms, a chiropractor, and somebody who's actually gone down the pathway of developing his own supplements and found LifeVantage, and hands down is just blown away at the technology. How do you get started? This is how. The Tri-Synergizer that we talked about today is $127.99 a month. Like I said, you get an extra bottle of omegas with that, which is amazing. If you break that down, and I know that a lot of us are concerned about our budgets right now, please look over your budget. I urge you, for the sake of your health, for investment, give this at least 90 days and see how you feel. We often say, from a medical perspective, I hear our doctors on our team say, give it a month for every decade that you've been alive. But when you break that down, and when we go back to budgeting, it's $4.17 per day. Add a bag of Axio, and you're looking at about $6 per day. I know people who spend more money on just one drink of Starbucks, and you're not going to live longer because of that. So I'm just saying, if you're looking at saving for your family, or you want to just try it all, be a product of all of these amazing products, then I urge you to bundle and save. So you can get started at a silver pack, $350, a gold pack, $650, or a platinum pack at $1250. And what that says, it says plus start kit, 60% of our customers want to share this good news, just as you would um, a restaurant that you love, or your favorite boutique that you love. You're going to want to share your health experiences. So we give you a little bundle that you can share little information as well as samples. And we actually have a high turnover of people who want to be like you and I, and want to actually share this on a regular basis to earn a little extra money, because who doesn't have a side hustle nowadays? I'm telling you, we all do in one way or another, because it doesn't matter if you live in Hawaii or anywhere else in the country, anywhere else in the world for that matter. Times are tough, and our economy is definitely way beyond our means sometimes. So certainly think about it. Our company is rapidly expanding. We're in over 24 countries now. We're always looking for motivated individuals to, join and to share. I always say that if, the S hit the fan, we would not have enough healers in our world. So the more that we can reach out and help people, the better off that we are. So that's us. And if you haven't already been invited to, one moment, baby, I'm almost done. This is my son. If you haven't already been invited to join in our 90-day transformation, we're on our last month. It's very exciting. And we're about to, no, wait, are we on the last month? We're somewhere in between the second and third month, and we're about to kick it off with, stepping it up with some exercise to really look at our heart health this month. So, it's free to join. You're going to get a wealth of information. Plus, you're going to get an amazing community of people supporting you. And if you're really, really excited about, this, then please get back to the person that invited you. I personally have devised something that's called my 21-day 10x your health, so you can 10x your wealth. And we're just going to be going into mindset. We're going to be going into our habitual habits that we can stack every single day, and just so many different things. I have a number of experts that are going to be doing that, and your commitment to that program is actually buying, it's about $240 with the $50 rebate. So this is something that I'm rolling out, but anybody that actually invited you to hear this information can certainly turn you on to that, and I can pass on that information. I am all about sharing everything that I learned, so that everybody benefits, everybody levels up, everybody alohas up. So does anybody have any questions? I see that we have some chat going on here, and I can stop the recording and pause it. Thank you very much for joining me.